Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. You guys know how long the WEF has been at this? Well, I guess more accurately, how long they've been planning the implementation of a digital cryptocurrency for the future of finance. I mean, a lot of us got into this space, some of us in 2020, some of us a little earlier. Like me, myself, I got into cryptocurrency in 2017. But it wasn't until after the beer flu hit that I really was thinking about the WEF as a nefarious entity. And when all the theories started coming out, started looking into them. And you know what? Things add up. Okay, Ingrid here posted this. This was a document from 2016 from the WEF. And, this was way before central bank digital currencies were on anybody's radar. But here they talk about digital identity. Correct identity information is critical to ensuring financial transactions are accurate and compliant. But integrating physical identity protocols with DLT creates frictions and increases the potential for errors. Down here it says distributed fiat currencies issued by central banks, guys, again, from 2016, could be employed within distributed financial infrastructure, ensuring the availability of liquidity even in the event of systemic instability. And then over here, opportunities for integration may emerge between distributed financial infrastructure and a range of innovations, such as artificial intelligence. Well, AI, as you guys know, really didn't hit the scene, at least in terms of in a mainstream capacity until 2023. But again, this is from 2016. They go on to say, such as artificial intelligence or the rapidly evolving Internet of Things. Now, again, guys, this document from 2016 from the World Economic Forum, things that make you go, it's been in the works for a while now. Another one from Ingrid here on Twitter. Based on the World Economic Forum 2016 report, cryptocurrencies were already planned to be used in the future. Now, this is the document that I really wanted to show you guys. Disruptive technologies. Here's the wheel of evolution, I guess. DLT use cases in financial services, July 2016. Again, this is way, way early on, before Ripple adoption and before Ripple integration had been, making waves. This was at the beginning when Ripple was still, trying to find their footing and trying to forge partnerships. 7 years ago now? Yeah, 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago. The use case deep dives were conducted and summarized in a standard format, but essentially use case portfolio selection criteria, representation of DLT implementations across various asset classes across multiple subsectors, demonstrations of scenarios where DLT must be implemented in a networked or single entity environment, and consideration of implementations that could be justified both on financial and non-financial / strategic grounds. So even at that time, they knew that distributed ledger technology was going to be used in more of a capacity than just for cross-border payments. So some great clips here from Ingrid, just giving us some context to why we think the WEF is shady. Now, this one from Combaz here. Goodbye, Bitcoin. Klaus Schwab talks about central bank digital currencies. And guess when this clip was from? 2014, 2 years before the report that Ingrid brought to us. Listen to this.
When we come, probably not at the 20th, but already at the 10th or 15th meeting, we will pay, not necessarily with Bitcoins, but with other, what they call cryptocurrencies. So the impact of virtual currencies and so on the banking system, we only start now to understand.
And it's almost like he's talking over their heads here in 2014. All these guys just looking at him like, what the F is this guy even saying? Well, Andy Schekman here in this clip, he gives some startling news about identifications that are digital. And, come to think of it, I probably should not play this clip for you guys. I will link it in the description. I just wanted to give you guys a sense of who Andy Schekman is. So he's been in business since 1990 in Minnesota. He's a precious metals guy. We maintain an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and are one less than 30 companies worldwide to ever be approved by the U.S. Mint as an authorized reseller of U.S. Mint products. So gold, silver, other precious metals, he's been in the business for a while. And he, talks about some patents that guys like him own and other huge companies that they had years ago, and how it's going to connect to central bank digital currencies, these things as well, through this, okay? And, I'm being careful on purpose here. Again, I was going to play you guys this clip, but, I think I'm just not going to, just to be safe, but I will link it again, as I said, in the description for you guys to watch. Interesting to note how the sector has matured and how, more implementation for this technology that was discussed 7-8 years ago is becoming a reality based on the technology. So Spend the Bits, guys, has partnered with Circle, and that's a big one. USDC is now available on the XRP ledger. This coming from crypto.darren here on Twitter. For real, no extra counterparties. Generation Infinity originally tweeted this out. Spend the Bits achieves a significant milestone with the Flare networks. As we talked about last week, XRP powered app is set to transform Bitcoin transactions and much more. Again, guys, this coming from Spend the Bits. In a series of tweets that sent shockwaves through the cryptocurrency community, Spend the Bits, a pioneering platform for blockchain integration, announced the successful completion for its proof of concept with the Flare networks. And guys, even down here, you can see that they are now also implementing USDC. So partnering with Circle, who is the issuer of the USDC stablecoin. Jay Combo of Spend the Bits said, hello, Kashta. We have two key value propositions. The first is the integration of USDC through BitGo and the Spend the Bits platform. The second involves the native integration of USDC on the XRP Ledger sidechain, followed by porting to the main chain after the pilot phase. Neil Hartner asking, what do you mean by native integration of USDC? And Jazz Combo saying, the USDC address issued on the XRP Ledger sidechain, similar to how it was done for XLM and the ALGO chain. So that is pretty awesome. As Kashta says down here, the first involves the integration of USDC through BitGo on the Spend the Bits platform with a demo expected soon. The second proposition is even more intriguing as it pertains to the native integration of USDC on the XRP Ledger sidechain, followed by porting to the main chain after the pilot phase. So guys, huge announcements from Spend the Bits. Got to congratulate them. They are really, changing the world when it comes to Bitcoin transactions, but other cryptocurrency transactions too, being performed on the XRP ledger. The Bitcoin one I was really excited about because we know just natively Bitcoin does move very slowly. And so through the Spend the Bits wallet, you can transfer to another peer on the Spend the Bits wallet Bitcoin transactions in fractions of seconds because it runs on the XRP ledger. So wanted to thank Darren here and Jay Combo just for bringing up those updates with regards to Spend the Bits. Apparently, JP Morgan has come out with a new token, guys. And remember before how they were saying, oh, is this going to be an XRP killer? Well, now they're asking, will XRP be the JP Morgan killer, or will this token be able to compete, rather, with XRP? This courtesy of Tim on Twitter. JP Morgan is reportedly developing a new blockchain-powered deposit token that could compete with XRP and other tokens. So gives a little bit of background here. Of course, we remember the JPM coin as a solution for instantaneous transactions between the bank's customers. I think that was more or less a flop. The deposit token, on the other hand, has similar functionality as stablecoins and central bank currencies designed to transfer funds among banks externally for encrypted assets. So JPM wants into crypto. I mean, they have for a while, but here's the latest news. According to a source familiar with the matter, the bank is in its final phase of infrastructure development, which includes the deposit feature. However, the implementation can only be proceeded under the approval of the U.S. government. If approved, the organization could launch the project for corporate customers within the next year. And guys, here's a quote. The new token would allow for faster cross-border payments and settlements. In fact, JP Morgan has reportedly built the infrastructure needed to handle the transactions for the token. This was as per Bloomberg. So this new development reportedly aligns with JP Morgan's established collaboration with the Monetary Authority of Singapore. So that's an interesting connection, a Ripple partner, wherein they have been engaged in testing of a deposit token payment system since last year. Umar Farouk, global head of financial institutions of payment at JP Morgan, said that the firm will continue to develop blockchain-based solutions to streamline financial services and sees this as the next step in the digitization for the banking industry. So it is interesting to see JP Morgan continuing to try to come up with a solution to combat Ripple and to rival the XRP token. Ripple, has gone on the record, or Brad Garlinghouse has said, in the past that the JPM token was essentially redundant. You don't really need these banks don't need new technology. They can just run on RippleNet, leverage XRP for liquidity, and make the transfers like that. But of course, JPM, they want a bigger slice of the pie. So chances are they are trying to come up with something that, allows them to have more leverage when it comes to these cross-border transactions. We got to remember first-tier banks, they've historically, allowed the second and third-tier banks to leverage their Nostro and Vostro accounts to make cross-border transactions. Well, guys, that is all changing with RippleNet, the level playing field. Now these banks can just plug into RippleNet and do it themselves. They don't need the big first-tier banks anymore. So my thought is JP Morgan, doing something like this, probably trying to combat or, grab a bit of a larger slice of the pie now that Ripple has been making waves, now that Ripple has been tearing it up on the banking scene, partnering with not just small banks, but bigger banks as well. So JP Morgan feeling a little threatened. Most likely. Anyway, wanted to thank Tim here for posting that. Gonna keep moving, guys. More Ripple partner news, this time in Africa with Flutterwave. Backed by CBN, Flutterwave's new product Swap wants to solve Nigeria's FX problems. Flutterwave has launched a Swap, an attempt to digitize the Nigerian foreign currency or FX market in partnership with Wema Bank, the 10th biggest Nigerian bank by assets. So they want to digitize the process of getting foreign exchange for Nigerians with the backing of a company called CBN. The fintech is leveraging a partnership with Wema Bank, a commercial bank, that Cadavra BDC, a Bureau de Change BDC, to provide liquidity and foreign exchange for the product. Mr. Shanubi, the acting governor of the CBN, told reporters at a press conference last week that Swap could solve two major problems facing Nigeria's foreign exchange market: the lack of collaboration between institutions and the dependence on cash. So clearly there is a need for this, and Flutterwave obviously swooping in and going to solve the problem, leveraging RippleNet, XRP, for that liquidity to convert these, what I'm assuming are probably exotic fiat currencies. So no new licenses were issued, and we believe Swap will help moderate the rates of the BDCs, at the same time differentiate BDCs from black market transactions, said Shonubi. Flutterwave will leverage its international money transfer operator license from the CBN to bring in the foreign currency. Cadavra will use its BDC license to sell it, and Wema Bank will support the entire process. So 3 companies here, one that is enabled through RippleNet, namely Flutterwave, looking to process these FX transactions for Nigerians. Shanubi added that BDCs that refuse to go digital would be phased out of the system as the CNB tries to make the FX market cashless. So they're also looking to make it cashless. Here's a quote: "This helps us to differentiate between what is the regulated market, which is a BDC, as opposed to the ones which the central banks does not regulate." He shared that the Apex Bank would monitor all transactions on Swap, and unregulated foreign transactions would stop because of what they are doing here today. So some more great news here, leveraging this new technology to make these African currency rails seamless. In this case, we're looking at Nigeria. Flutterwave obviously has that foothold in Africa, an African company that has leveraged RippleNet for a few years now. So some great news there that I wanted to share with you guys today. XRP-Wins here posting this, guys. Standard Charter, one of the original funders of Ripple. Well, they own a crypto custody firm called Zodia, and they are launching in Singapore. Another Singapore connection here. This coming from CNBC. Okay, so Zodia Custody, a company that helps large institutions store their crypto, launches in Singapore on Tuesday in a bid to tap the country's rapidly growing digital asset market. So Standard Charter, the connection to Ripple there, moving into Singapore. We know Ripple already has many connections in Singapore. So the development makes Zodia the first entity that is owned by and partnered with banks to provide digital asset custody services for financial institutions in Singapore. Zodia is a subsidiary of Standard Charter, the British bank with a presence largely in emerging markets such as Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. Standard Charter launched Zodia in 2021 alongside Northern Trust in a move that highlights curiosity from big institutions in interacting with digital currencies. And Zodia is also part owned by SBI Digital Asset Holdings, guys, which we did a video on just yesterday, which I will link up here in the top right-hand corner, the crypto division of Japanese bank SBI. So they just received an RMO license, which is what I discuss in that video that I just linked up in the top. Zodia says it wants to expand across the Asia-Pacific region to cater to a growing demand from institutions for bank-grade custody of digital assets, as well as demand from existing clients in the region. So they see the demand is going up. Clearly, guys, there is more institutional demand, or there will be more institutional demand for cryptocurrencies this time around. So to be getting in at these prices, and for my patrons, guys, still looking for some good picks. The market is notoriously low in September. So for only $5 a month, you can follow me. You can see what I'm going to be trading. And, it's an interesting time. We're only going to get this opportunity for a short period of time, maybe another couple of months before the market really starts moving. And of course, after the Bitcoin halving, that is historically when we see the market, in the last 3 cycles, the market really kind of shoot up. So I'm getting into my positions now, only $5 a month. You guys can follow my trades, and I'm picking different kinds of coins. It's not just the XRPs and the Bitcoins of the world. These are different kinds of coins based on different metrics. We're not even specifically looking at real world utility. So I'm completely switching it up this time, and I've kept it fairly affordable, only $5 a month. So you guys can stay alongside me until we all decide to sell our cryptocurrency at the highest price possible. So great to see that these guys are getting ready for the institutional money to come in. Wanted to thank XRP-Wins here on Twitter just for bringing that to our attention. Here's something else, guys, that Utility FTW noticed. Okay, bullish speculation is Ripple abandoning the ODL branding. Now, a few years ago, they abandoned the X branding, the X current, the X rapid, the X via, and they put it all under one umbrella, namely ODL, on-demand liquidity. But guys, this is what utility has noticed. Ripple ODL guide is gone, okay? Before they had a guide here, ODL, on-demand liquidity, and now it says no information is available for this page. Here they say the address used to direct to this page. This is from the Wayback Machine. And now, guys, it is gone. Key benefits, this is all gone. None of this even exists anymore. And I thought they would have kept the ODL branding for a while, considering they just kind of recently-ish, adopted that name. But here's what's happening. It's now directing to a payments by numbers guide. So that's interesting. Payments by the numbers, and then, bringing us to this guide here. Download the guide for remittances. It's too blurry to read here, but I will link all this in the description. I guess if you guys want to follow the breadcrumbs, you can download that guide. The payments by numbers guide, utility brings to us a snapshot here, does not mention ODL one single time, but it does make it clear that XRP is still the bridge. So no ODL mentioned. Are they going to rebrand it? Are they changing it to something else? Is something else happening in the back end to leverage XRP? Maybe it's that Fortress connection too. Remember, Fortress can do anything banks can do, but is not a bank. And in a video I did on Saturday, which I will link up here in the top right-hand corner, we were speculating. We were wondering if Ripple wants to become a bank-like entity and all the reasons surrounding that based on their connection to Fortress. So now we're finding out that there's no ODL anymore. So could the integration to Fortress mean that now they don't need ODL anymore, or maybe, ODL is going to be considered something else now? Well, you can still search for ripple.com domain references to ODL. Ripple's main search comes up with no references to ODL, but rather directs back to pay by the numbers guide. So that's interesting. Ripple's last post talking about ODL was on June 21st, 2023. And then, as we all know, shortly thereafter, XRP did gain clarity. So could it also have to do with the XRP clarity factor? Maybe they were using ODL as a workaround when XRP was still mired in that lawsuit. We are witnessing the destruction of an ODL label, which is no longer needed since XRP has been declared a security. He's asking the question here. According to a Ripple patent, okay, and he gives the patent number, ODL is simply an ambiguous label for a computing system that implements a cross-medium transaction service by leveraging the use of a digital currency and a ledger. And so he posts that here, guys. Again, I will link all this in the description for you. But if this is from the patent, and if the patent was strictly to give ODL a label so that Ripple could create an infrastructure to utilize XRP without it being considered a security, without their clients holding it, without them holding it, because it was a hot potato in the eyes of the SEC, maybe that's what happened, and maybe now they no longer need it, so they're ditching it altogether. Again, guys, this is all just speculation, but it's always good to question. Ripple acquired the patent on February 21st, 2020. Did the award of this patent now mean that their primary currency and ledger solution for ODL, which was XRP, when needed to go through the SEC gauntlet to separate Ripple from XRP as a non-security? Or does this patent mean that Ripple is the only entity that has been granted the right to use digital currency and ledger to facilitate cross-medium transactions for any exchange of value? That's another interesting question. I mean, we know there are other companies like Stellar's a great prime example for this. The XLM token, very similar to XRP. But did Ripple actually create this patent so that they could only be the ones only to create cross-medium transactions for any exchange of value? And maybe that does extend to certain parameters. I don't know. Maybe Stellar legally, because of their patent, can only exchange value between, X perimeter and Y perimeter. But Ripple, because of their extended patent, they can exchange value globally. I mean, that's again just speculation. We do not know the answer, but they're all very interesting questions to be asking. Utility down here finalizing this. Maybe we can just get some insight on this development. Monica Long, Joel Katz, Brad Garlinghouse. What the heck is going on? Anders here also picking up on this great post. This is also shortly after SBI expanded with their new ODL corridors. So maybe because these ODL corridors are now expanding through Ripple partners, maybe Ripple does no longer need ODL for their own business model. Interesting. I mean, again, lots of speculation, a lot of possibilities here. Dark Horse here also mentioning that Utility FTW has done one hell of a dive into this. Could ODL now be eliminated or rebranded altogether? So maybe they're just rebranding it, maybe not eliminating it, right? That's another possibility. I've had to reread this a few times to let this sink in, and only the latest patent from Ripple is the Crypto Means Business patent. Please read this thread. It's very, very interesting. So Again, guys, I will link this utility thread in the description of the video for you. Interesting to note that this is the only patent that Ripple holds now. The Crypto Means Business patent, originally published not too long ago, August 29th, 2023. So what does this mean now, guys? ODL being abolished, ODL being rebranded, have all the Ripple partners, in essence, done their duty to create a robust framework, robust enough that Ripple no longer needs ODL, or does it have something to do with the lawsuit, or both? All very, very interesting questions. I guess time will tell what this means, if we will see ODL in the future, if the name is going to be rebranded to something else, if Ripple's going to change up their business model. But to be honest, guys, the utility for XRP, now that there's clarity, I think is going to ramp up, help Ripple ramp up utility in the US, and Fortress, of course, going to complement Ripple's ultimate plans. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.